Hello and welcome to the Passion Show. My name is Kyle, and joining me as always is my co-host Phil, who is also my guest for this episode.
Hello. Yeah, so in today's episode, we're talking about RuPaul's Drag Race. It's a show that I've watched for quite a while and got quite invested in, so Kyle's going to question me on it, delve into my passion and why I like it, see if I can explain it a bit.
I've been in the living room while you're watching the odd episode.
Yeah.
You and the other housemates.
Yeah, we went through a phase of watching it quite a lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
We watched a few seasons.
But I never really watched it. I was always I never really got it.
Yeah. It'd be on and you'd watch it, but
Yeah.
it'd be a background thing for you.
So how did you get into it?
I remember my girlfriend came around to my house and she was like, "Oh, I've been watching Drag Race," because I knew about it obviously because it was kind of blowing up. She sort of got in there before the massive explosion of it. She was like, "Oh, do you want to watch it?" And I was like, "Oh, not really. Like, I don't think I'll like it." She was like, "Oh, we'll just put it on." So we put it on, and I was just on my phone, sort of.
Yeah.
I think that's how most lads get into it.
Yeah.
So I was just on my phone, and then I sort of saw myself peeking up from the phone, and I'd be like watching the lip syncs and looking at like the dresses and that, and I was like, "Oh, this is like quite sick."
Yeah.
And you get invested in certain drag queens and the drama and stuff, and it sounds like really cheesy saying you get invested in the drama, but it's just so exciting. But yeah, that's sort of how I got into it, and I've just been watching it.
I've heard that same story of boyfriends getting into the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably why I'm not into the show because I'm lonely.
It's kind of like the main demographic at the minute is lads.
Yeah,
who just buzz off it because their beards got them into it.
So what is it that you love about it?
I've always tried to sort of pinpoint that. Like, I think it's the fact that they can be so open and free, and like it's kind of liberating to watch. Just like, it's like I'm fully knowledgeable that they're blokes, but they're just in dresses and doing makeup, and I call them she when I watch it, just because that's what they get called. And it's nice and liberating for a show to be so like open and just fine with so many things. Like,
it's very respectable.
Even issues of race and gender and stuff, they know where to make a joke as well. Like, sometimes like drag queens will get called out for like what they say, but a lot of it's just sort of everything's a joke and it's all fine. Like, they always roast each other, which is called reading. You read someone, but stuff like that's really exciting. But going like not as in depth, it is fun to just like watch a lip sync and watch them like dance and stuff, and the costumes and dresses are always like really extravagant and fun to watch. And I think more than that, it's also a thing that like me and my girlfriend watch together. So we'll watch it every week when it comes out, and it's kind of like a nice time for us to just chill and watch a thing we're both like invested in.
So what's the format of the show? Like, how is it structured? As a series?
So there's always at the start of the season you get about 13 or something to 15 drag queens, around that many, and it's hard to keep track of them when they first start a season because you're like, whoa, there's so many new names that I have to learn. As each week goes by, you lose one drag queen, one gets eliminated until you're left with like your final 4, and that's like the main crew, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as more and more queens get eliminated, you then start to learn their names, and like you learn about their character traits and what they're good at. Like, some are good at acting, some are good at dance and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's kind of like the main gist of the show, to like end up with one winner. But each episode is like, you'll have a mini challenge at the start, and whoever wins, like, that's literally just done in their dressing room type area. It's so like low-key. The winner of that challenge has influence over the main challenge, which can either be like acting or dancing or a song.
Oh, so it's like a variety show.
Yeah, it's loads of different talents and stuff. So, or it could just be a runway episode where they have to make like 3 different looks or something, and they bring in like guests or past drag queens. Like a good episode is where they got the crew of the show, like all the lighting guys and the camera guys, and each drag queen had to drag up one of them.
Oh my god.
It's really interesting, and I like seeing perspectives like that because all those guys are just straight guys.
Yeah.
And they dress them up and get them into drag, and they discuss like how their preconceived notions might have stopped them from doing it. Like, they do it for sports players at one point, and one of the guys who gets done up in drag, he's scared of what is like, I think he played basketball and he was scared of what his teammates were going to say to him. Like imagine being that scared. Like, it's so like
It's
how different people's lives are.
Yeah.
I just find it fascinating, like where all these people come from and stuff like that, their backstories. But the show also does a lot for like making you aware of issues.
Yeah.
Like I know in season 11, one drag queen called Nina West was talking about how she was like attacked when she ran for like student president.
Oh
Do you know what I
wow.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And while she was doing that, another gay college kid got killed.
Oh my God.
I don't know the name,
Yeah.
so I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, they got killed, and it was at the same time that Nina West was getting like attacked and stuff, and it's just so interesting how they all have their own experiences and how they've had to deal with it.
Yeah.
But now that they're on the show and they're doing what they love, it's kind of like got through it, and they, you know, hush the naysayers, or whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's liberating to see people just achieve what they want and do what they want.
So who are your favorite drag queens? So, because I know you've seen a couple.
Yeah, I've seen Trixie Mattel and I've seen Katya. I've also seen both of them live, and they're both like really funny. Like Trixie does more music and singing and stuff like that, and comedy, and Katya was doing characters,
Yeah.
like different characters and different types of drag, and that was like just really interesting and really funny. At the minute, I like Evie Oddly, because I like weird drag. Like she does sort of oddball stuff. She's not into like glamour. She wants to like shock you and surprise you. And that comes from a drag queen called Sharon Needles, because she was like a goth sort of drag queen, and she did like horror makeup because she's
Yeah,
inspired
yeah.
by horror films. And I like the sort of different ones, but I also like just really funny ones like Latrice Royale. You know,
Yeah.
like a big black guy who just happens to be a drag queen. And stuff, but she's just got like the best laugh ever, like this howl, like this cackle.
Yeah.
It's like a scream. It's great. I love stuff like that. But I think I want to see more drag queens in the future. Like after going to drag shows, and they were both like pretty different, I want to see more, and like it's a nice experience to go to drag shows. Like I'd recommend it to anyone, like regardless of if you're into Drag Race, because even
Yeah.
though there's Drag Race references, it's still just like comedy. It's really funny.
I agree with what you were saying before about drag queens and like how well inspiring
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are. You need to have like mad confidence to be able to do that.
Yeah, one of the themes they sort of talk about on this show is that they want what they do on Drag Race to appeal to like other little boys that are like them basically, because when they were growing up they didn't have anything like Drag Race. So they want other young boys to not have to go through the shit they went
Yeah,
through,
yeah.
getting like bullied and stuff. They want them to know that like everything's okay. One thing they tend to do at the end of seasons, when there's like 4 left, Rue will get like a picture of when they were young, and they'll say, "Oh, this is Bobby," because they don't use their real names. What would
Yeah.
you say to 4-year-old Bobby, which is them? They'll say to themselves like, "Oh, just like do what you want to do and don't
That's
be
when they
afraid
cry,
of."
isn't it?
That's when I
Yeah.
cry. And they're like, "Don't be afraid of like being who you are," and that's all it's about really. It's just
Yeah.
like embracing who you are and enjoying it.
Like everybody should do that. Everyone should
Yeah,
embrace and be
yeah.
like, oh, as a person.
Yeah, exactly, and like take time to put yourself first and stuff, and don't worry about other people's perception of you, because if you're happy with yourself, that should be all that matters. Like I really like that sort of sentiment of the show. It's kind of the core of the show for me, because while the drama and all that's funny, it's nice to watch really tender moments.
And I think the fact that like drag queens are like so confident,
Yeah.
they also don't give a fuck. 'Cause and I've got a story behind this. So I was on a night out in Manchester, and there was a drag queen, and I'd lost my bank card in the club, and I was stressing loads. And the drag queen was just pissing herself laughing at me, and she was like, cancel your card. So I opened the app, and then my phone died. And she just started pissing herself laughing, but laughing down at me.
Yeah, because they're then tall up by Gabriel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just so funny, and I like that you can just rip the piss out of you and you're not bothered. Like
Yeah.
they just could fully roast you, and it's just I'm fine with it, because I know you're just messing.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're always doing. They always like roast each other, because it's at like the majority of the time they're just messing, aren't
Yeah,
they?
exactly. I know there's a lot of like celebrities that come on, like Sharon Osbourne and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and,
like Ariana
Grande,
Grande.
yeah.
Yeah, oh.
And Lady Gaga. Did
Yeah,
she come
yeah,
on?
she's came on it. Khloe Kardashian's been on it and stuff like that. It's always interesting to see like celebrities come on it and seeing them interact with them. It kind of makes you think, oh, celebrities are just like Drag Race fans. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's quite interesting.
They probably are as well. They probably do
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Miley Cyrus came on it at the
Yeah.
start of season 11.
If you were to give like a starting point for like someone like me who like doesn't watch the show, how would you tell someone to get into it? How would someone get into it?
Yeah, yeah. It's quite hard because obviously with it being a reality show, it does get like dated. So do you know when you watch old Britain's Got Talent, even though it's all shit.
Yeah.
When you watch old Britain's Got Talent, it's so much different to the new ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first couple seasons, I never watched the first couple seasons. I started on season 3, but it's never limited me in how I watched it. And people say like season 1 is like totally different. It was more like America's Next Top Model. It like took itself quite seriously. So I started on season 3, and I loved that season. And I watched 3, 4. I think I skipped 5 and 6, but I've went back and watched them now. And then I watched 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
And I've watched some All Stars. And I've watched 10 and 11. But I'd say you could start around season 3 or 4, because a lot of people say the peak of Drag Race is 5/6, and 7 was sort of the start of the
Okay, yeah.
downfall.
So like get into it before it like gets good, and
Yeah,
then like
yeah,
when it
it-
gets good, you'll notice that
It
it's
sort
good.
of peaks.
Yeah.
And even though it sort of dips a bit in quality and people are sort of disagreeing with some of the decisions of the show, it still retains a lot of its quality and a lot of its fun, even though at its core it might not be as good.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd say start around season 3 or something, and then just see where it takes you. Like if you get invested, that's perfect. But if you don't, you can sort of just enjoy the one-off episode just for like the dancing and the drama and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also just try and like expand like what you watch. Like drag queens are like really fun to watch live. Like sort of open yourself up and maybe give it a chance. Maybe watch like clips on YouTube as well, because there's a lot of stuff on YouTube about it.
Yeah. Sweet. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, Phil, for being my co-host and guest for this episode.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you have any passions yourself, feel free to write them in the comments below, and we'll talk about it in a later episode.
Or hit us up in our DMs if you want to come on the podcast.
Hey, did it. Other than that, thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.